mechanic that ditched his tools for a life in opera. He starred in La Bohème, directed by Baz Luhrmann, and Cameron Mackintosh wants him back for Les Mis with his mate Matt Lucas. Welcome, it's the one and only Alfie Boe. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Vanessa?
I'm great, thank you. It's so lovely to meet you. I've heard your dulcet tones on many an occasion.
Really, thank you.
Certainly have. This is a kind of dramatic story, the sort you could actually imagine in a film.
Well, it's nice. I think when you live it, it's a different story. But you know, it's people do say that it's a bit of a fairy tale sort of story. You know.
I mean, you started the youngest of 9 children.
Yeah.
Your dad sounds like a real character because he used to play you his favourite operatic arias during Sunday night.
He did, yeah. I mean, sometimes we appreciated it. Other times we just wanted to get out in the garden. But you know, most of the time we had to sit down and listen to it.
How did he come to have such an affection for opera?
He just loves, to be honest, my father's not a huge opera fan. He was never really an opera fan. He just loved good singing. He liked the tenor voice in particular, but he just liked all sorts of music. And I think that's where I get my mix of genres, really. You know, I like a lot of different styles.
You certainly do. I mean, you've absolutely tried your hand at almost every possible kind of music, including a very weird kind of rock and roll.
Maybe I should just concentrate on one and see if I can make a success of that.
You don't seem to be doing badly.
That's all right.
So talk us through it. You're the youngest of 9 kids. You hear all this lovely music. Do you dare to sing along, or do you think your older brothers and sisters are going to give you a good slap in the head if you dare to sing?
No, well, actually, I did used to sing along, and it used to clear the house. But no, I used to sing along to a lot of my father's records, and he was always singing around the house. So that's something else I inherited from my father.
But did you ever think, this is what I want to do? I want to tread the ball?
No, I mean, you don't really, as a kid in Lancashire, you don't really grow up thinking I'm going to be a performer, I'm going to be a singer. You know, you have the options of either becoming a mechanic or going to sea as a fisherman. I come from a little fishing town, Fleetwood. Yeah. A lot of my friends went into the army. And it was me that sort of brought them out in a way.
You certainly did. I mean, you smashed it to smithereens. Well, so you did do as you were expected to do and become a mechanic.
Yeah, I was told to get a trade, practice your trade. Once you've done your apprenticeship, you can then go off and do whatever you want because you'll always have something to fall back on. And I didn't really.
so let's get to your breakthrough eureka moment, because you were just doing what you always do, presumably, which was sing.
Yeah.
And some wonderful Good Samaritan stroke fairy godmother stroke angel heard you.
Pretty much. I was working in the car factory. My job at the beginning of my time there, my apprenticeship, was to lie underneath the cars and spray them black, you know, like the base coat. And but then at the end of the line, at the end of my time there, I got a job working at the end of the line, polishing the cars and making sure that they were pristine to leave the factory. And there was a guy whose car I was working on who overheard me singing and basically said, "You've got a good voice."
What were you singing that day? Do you remember?
Oh my word, I get asked this all the time. I can't remember. It's something from, I think it was either a West Side Story song, or I'd like to say it was some rock and roll, but it wasn't. It was probably some West Side Story music, because I was doing a production of West Side Story at the time, so
an amateur dramatics.
Amateur dramatics, yeah. I was in a lot of Amdram, you know, that's where I started.
And so this person heard you and did what?
He just said, there's a company in London that are auditioning for guys to join their chorus, to do their next UK tour. Why don't you head down and try out? So I what have I got to lose? I took the day off work, went down to London, and that was it. I got taken on.
And do you remember the nerves at the audition? Do you remember whether you thought you stood a chance or not?
I was scared stiff. Yeah. I walked into this theatre, and there was a lot of other singers there that had obviously done the audition process before, and they were all in their suits and the ties and the pristine look. And I turned up jeans and a check shirt. I looked like a lumberjack, you know. I didn't do the lumberjack song.
What was your audition piece then? What did you sing?
I sang a song which my father used to play at the dinner table, which is called "You Are My Heart's Delight."
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
I think my grandpa used to play that.
Well, that was the only song I knew. My heart's delight.
I'm going to say Alfie Boe sang that to me. Oh, yes, I am. We've got a VT of you singing so that people can see and hear you if they've never had the pleasure. Which I know. He can sing this, dude. Have a look. from one singer to another. Ben's giving you the...
Thanks. Cheers, man. Thank you. We'll do it.
Real singer, that love. Real singer.
I know he is. Now, that was from the 25th anniversary of Les Mis.
Yeah.
Is that where you became best buds with your best bud, Matt Lucas?
Pretty much, yeah. We started rehearsals over the spring last year. That's me with a beard. It's freezing without my beard now. Shave it off for the show. But, no, me and Matt, we hit it off pretty well at the rehearsal process, and we kept in touch. And yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Matt Lucas, known as a funny guy, of course, known as Baby George Dawes, of course.
Yeah.
Not necessarily known for his commanding voice, but you say it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't give himself enough credit, to be honest, because whatever Matt puts his mind to, he does it 110%. You know, he really does. He sang on my album too, which is available in all the shops.
I know it is. I was just about. Isn't it lucky you mentioned your album?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was just about to remind you about it. Now, that's an album not full of operatic arias, but different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, show tunes, the popular stuff. You know, like there's some Rodgers and Hammerstein, some of the classics like Some Enchanted Evening. The album's called Bringing Home, obviously with the Les Mis connection. But
Did you get to choose them, or does somebody tell you what to sing?
It's funny. We're going through that process now because we're focusing on the next record now. But I come up with a list. The record company comes up with a list. My management come up with a list. The production company all get their favourite songs together, and we just gradually whittle them down and which ones would work best together. As it happened, there's only two on there that weren't my choice. So.
And what about the pressure to sing Some Enchanted Evening in a way that no one sung it before, to put your own stamp on it, that kind of thing?
What, you mean in Japanese then, like I did on the album?
Or something, you know, because it's so well known.
It is. I mean, I think with any song that you attempt, you really have to put your own mark on. You know, there's no point doing a carbon copy of someone else's version. Otherwise, what's the point in doing your own album? You know, you have to really make it your own. And
you and Matt are going back into Les Mis together.
We are, yeah.
And you're such good mates that you're shacked up at his London pad.
Yeah, well, I don't have a place to stay at the moment, so he's let me crash it is for a while. Yeah.
And your wife and your daughter are away in America.
They're in Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
They're in Hawaii, and it's great. I keep getting these photographs texted me of my daughter playing on the beach, and it's beautiful sun and the palm trees are swaying, and I just step out into the freezing cold rain. You know, it's a nightmare.
But you can hardly complain because you're spending your life these days in the
you.
Mikado. Well, with
I'm
me,
here.
which is lovely. But you're also starring in the Mikado as Nanki Poo.
I am, yeah. That's a good show. It's a good show. It's a funny one. It's a ridiculous story, but the music.
Lovely music, though, isn't it?
Great music.
Seriously beautiful music.
Really good music.
Yes, the Wandering
Jonathan
July
Rose
and all that.
production, and that's been running for 25 years as well. You know, so it's a real year for 25-year celebrations.
I mean, Ben's always telling me about the rock star lifestyle.
Yeah.
The women, the booze. I can't go into many more details about it.
The
women, the booze and all that. I hate it when he tells me about it, if you must know, because I was always doing my Latin homework and cooking a chicken. I'm just so jealous I can't bear it. What about the opera star's lifestyle? Is there such a thing?
There's women. Yeah. No. The opera star's lifestyle. You know, it's funny. I'm trying not to sort of give myself that title of opera singer anymore, because I think it puts you in a category. I want to just try and drop that and just be called a general singer, because then I can cross different genres and bring in different worlds.
You'd be a general singer if you were just a bit more general, but you're not. You're very noticeably special. That's what makes it difficult. Well, you're going to stick around with us, aren't you?
I am. Yes.
Alfie Boe, everybody. Thank you so much. After the break, it is a